Well, hello and welcome to today's video. We're in part 4 of the troubleshooting videos, I believe, of this particular group we're doing. And today we're doing the power up on the Silvertone model 6136. Hopefully it'll be a positive power up and things will go well. If not, we'll work through it and try to troubleshoot our way and maybe get us a radio at the end of this and maybe even some Bluetooth at the end of it. All right, I hope you continue watching. I thank you for everything you've done. Alright guys, welcome to today's video. This will be the final video in this run, win or lose, die. We're going to stop on this video. This is a donor chassis that I have that I had to take parts out of, and we were looking for the .00025. I think I found one close right up here in this old donor chassis, so I'm going to take him out. While I'm in here, I got a couple other radios I'm working on that need and stuff, and so I found a couple other parts in this chassis that would help me to get those radios going also. And so that's going to be my plan. This is not exactly the right mica, but it'll be close enough to do what we got to do. And it'll help me complete the circuit. That's the main thing I got to do. Is I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. All I'm doing is heating that up. That mica takes a minute because it's got that real thick wire on it. Oh, that's not good. I do believe that the wire broke on that one too. I don't even know where it went. Oh, there it is. No, it left me a little bit of wire. So as long as there's a little bit left on here, you can tack on to that. So I'll be able to J-hook a little bit and get that. But I'm going to say that this one is a little, just a tad larger than the other one. And in a minute here, I'm going to move you back over now. But while I got this, set up over here, I'll break away and get the rest of these pieces out that I need for the other radios. All right, I got you back in the other rack. I'm going to slide this guy back just for a minute. I got the temporary, well, I don't know, it might be permanent replacement mica cap back in over here. I got that connected back into that circuit right there, so that should make that full circuit complete. So what that should do for us as a group to make where we can finish out this side right here, and we can say everybody is complete right now. I think we got all our wires traced on here, and and we should have all the wires checked in this radio now. All right, now a couple things I want you to walk away with on this. Okay, when you start having trouble over in this switching problem, it is scary to take all this off. Like I said, make yourself a nice numbering system for these switches right here. Whatever system works for you. But I have mine where they got that little silver thing going across there. I count my numbers on the top, 1 through whatever, and then the numbers on the bottom I start like as 1 through 6. That'd be 7 through 12 on the bottom. 1 through 6 on the top, 7 through 12 on the bottom, going from this where the bolt's on right there. That's the way I remember, and it helps me as long as I can remember too that there are top and bottom switches on some of these. So, all right. Anyway, the other thing that I want you to take away from all this troubleshooting, don't get intimidated. You got coils here, coils here, coils here. Not counting the IF coil. That's a whole different thing. These coils are easy to do because you just got 2 in. But every coil has a start point and a stop point on that coil. You break it down by one little coil at a time, not all the coils together. Don't get all frustrated. So you got to test every coil one at a time. So as long as you get continuity and the right value between that dot and that dot, then this thing's going to work, okay? And that's what I did is when I went through here, and I did have continuity, but I know I had sparking, so one of these two coils, these loops right here, the loops in this coil right here, they were touching each other and shortened between each other. Eventually it's going to burn a hole through, and so you're gonna have an issue. I think the reason we lost the radio is because this connection was open right here, okay? So we were losing this coil right here. There was nothing connected here. All right, so that's why we were losing the radio. That's my gut feeling. When we fire this up, we're going to find out. But I just wanted you to see that it just take this coil, and you got a dot here and a dot here, and we got to check, and we got continuity between there, and you know there's no arcing or anything like that. Then you go on to the next coil. If you get all these coils where they have continuity and it's got the right value on them, you know these are small coils over here, so they're not going to have real huge values. Like that one has a 0.8, has a 2.9, has a 1.3. They're not going to be huge values on there. Like if you had a real high value, you got something wrong. But most of these are going to be smaller values. But as long as you got continuity between that point and that point, you know that coil's good, and you move on to the next one. If you get all these coils that are good, you should get your signal walking through here. And this is all getting your RF signal into the house, okay? All right, so I wanted you to take that away. Now, what we're going to do here is I'm going to get set up, and I'm going to try to come back and see if I got us a radio. I got to get the speaker in here and get everybody hooked back up, antennas and all that stuff. When we get all that, then we're going to try another power up and see if we got us a radio. All right, we're getting ready to do the power up. I'm going to power up my unit back here. You can see my voltage coming up. I'm going to rotate my voltage down. I'm going to rotate it down to 0. I want to make sure my volume and power rumming is all the way on. I got to remember, yeah, there's my volume. Can't remember why there was switches. I think it was just the main one. All right, so I got that set. Got the volume up to where I think it's up. We still got to, eventually, I'm probably going to have to put in a new volume control, but I'm going to play with it here first. This thing is needed, I never seen a radio that needed more things fixed. And I mean that. This is the only radio I've had that had all the things wrong. All right, so we're going to turn all these switches back here. We're going to leave one on, 40-watt bulb. And the only reason I'm doing this, since I rewound that, I could still have some kind of short I made or something like that. Otherwise, we felt like we didn't have a big problem. So here we go. We're rolling up, and we're just going to come up till I start seeing some stuff on the thing. Either I'm going to have a bulb glowing. Sometimes, see how that, I just want you to see it, how that bulb's glowing a little bit. When I kick in the second thing, that usually takes care of that one. It's not a bright glow. It's just it looks brighter on the camera. But now you can see I've got 38 volts in. Got 200 milliamps. What I'm doing is I'm letting it sit there for a little bit, because I'm watching this coil over here that we rewound. Make sure we don't have that arcing again, because if you do, then you're going to have other issues that we need to be looking at, and I don't want to have that problem. So I'm just going to let it sit here for a few minutes. And if it's going to rear its ugly head, it'll do it pretty quick. Okay, let's add a little more juice in. We're going to go up to about 70 volts now. You probably see these two bulbs start getting a little bit of a glow to them. And that kind of lets you know you're ready to kick in your next bulb. Okay. I'm going to stop right there. I'm at 270 milliamps now. Just added a 0 on the end of that green right there. That's milliamps on that side of the decimal. Your decimal's right there. You probably can't see it on camera. All right, so then I'm going to add in a third light bulb. Now, I figured I'd put us over our 70. I'm not hearing any popping and cracking and stuff like that. That's what I was hearing with that other coil. I was also smelling a little something. And sometimes it's good to just stick your head in there and smell. The bad news is I'm not hearing anything. I mean, oh, here it comes. It's just taking it a minute. And one thing I should have done is I probably should have checked. Yeah, this volume control really missed. About 99% sure we're gonna be changing that out. I have my light bulbs back here, which tells me that I've got my filament voltage is working good. But it's pretty quiet. I mean, I can touch the volume control and you can hear it kicking in. But I'm going to say that we've got a bad volume control too, which why not? Everything else has been broke on this radio. But we'll get to that here in a minute. It's still testable. You can get it to do something, wiggling this around. All right, let's go on up to about 90 volts. And stop shy of 90 because I'm going to flip in that fourth thing. It's going to put me over 90. So I'm going to let it sit there just for a minute, make sure I don't see no smoke and fire. All right, here comes the fourth light bulb is coming in. All right. See, when I'm messing with that volume control, I'm getting stuff, so I know there's got a short in it there. But I don't like the either. I forgot to make sure my little rubber thing was on there. Give you an update on the while we're waiting. Give you an update on the what do you call it? 3D printing is what I'm trying to say. The 3D printing is real close to being done. We had a few issues with it. We're working through those. A lot of it was just programming everything. You know, you had a lot of programming to do. And, all right. So we're at 91 right now. I don't see any smoke and fire. I am hearing a little speaker noise, and if I touch the volume control, I can get quite a bit of speaker noise. All right, so we're going to go on up. What that does is when you hear that speaker, at least you know that your amplifier section's working and everything's working like that. You still got some issues, but at least you know that part's working. All right, so now we're going on up. Before we go too much further, we're going to kill the light bulbs out because we know right now it's not a dead short somewhere. I don't see my coil sparking anymore. So we're just going to go hit the override right here. And that should shoot us up to close to where we need to be. We're pulling 70 milliamps. I think that was pretty close to what we was pulling last time when we did the first power up. And we're 118. I don't want to go that high. I'm going to go about 117. What do I want to go? All right, so we're going to let it sit here and bake for a little bit. And because this is what happened to me last time. I let it sit here and bake for a little bit. And once I started hearing popping and noise in there, and this thing was shooting little sparks out. And I wanted to make sure that that wasn't happening. The bad news is still not getting a radio station. Ah, here we go. That's the sound you want to hear right there. That tells you right now that we might be able to pull this in with alignment now. Okay, I'm going to play around with these. There's a couple of these switches that do some stuff, so. we're real close on this radio. It's just a matter of a little bit of tweaking now. And it's probably going to be my next troubleshooting video that's coming on here, because our next troubleshooting video is once you get power to this thing and you get everybody working good and you still don't have a radio, that's going to be your next problem. Okay, so we know that we got everything running good. See, our everything's stabilized up. If you had problems, this would be jumping around, moving around, and it would be up over the decimal here. So right now, I think pretty much our power issues are solved that we have. Now we got to work on our radio frequency, our RF issues that we've got. I do have a larger, I couldn't find the exact mica cap that was broke there, and I have a larger one, actually considerably larger. It's 250 picofarad. And it needs, it needs to be different than what it is, but I think it'll be fine for in the application that it's in, and that's why I went ahead and went with it. I may try to order one of them to get it in here, but it looks like we're at the point now. What you want to do first, and I'm not gonna. I don't know. I may do it. I don't know, but you want to start checking voltages. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. And we're going to just check a few basic voltages, just kind of see, because you're going to lose your radio first. The way that you're going to lose it, and I want to save this for the next troubleshooting video. That's why I don't really want to say too much here, but I'll show you at least on the incoming power. You want to make sure if you don't have your voltages right on these pins of these tubes, you're not going to get a radio station either, because if the tube isn't working right, and if we've got a tube that's malfunctioning, you're going to lose your signal right there. And we haven't even started that part of it as the tracing part. But I'm just going to, for the fun of it, I'm going to check our first cap down here where you come in at. And let's just see what kind of voltage we getting on that. And that way at least we'll know if our rectifier tube's doing his job. All right, so we want to turn our multimeter on. I'm not going to pull it out here, but I got it on DC volts, okay? One part to the chassis, and one part to the positive end of this electrolytic right here. And I got 294 volts, which I can tell you is pretty perfect. It's maybe a little bit low, but anyway, there's 294 volts at that point right there. All right, then you have a secondary electrolytic that comes off. It comes off right here, the 30 microfarad right here. The one I just checked was the one right after you come in. That first one I checked was this one right here. But now we're going to check this other one. All right, because that's where your B plus is going to be going out to the rest of the chassis. So we got to find the positive end of that and get my hand untangled from this wire. And let's put that on there, and I got 242 volts. So we dropped from 294 to 242. Well, what that tells you, and we'll do this again when we do our other tests. There's no, I don't know. Let me look at this paper. Maybe it does. Yeah, it does. It tells us. So it gives us our plate voltages right here. 150 volts on that one, 90 volts on that one. So this thing does operate at lower volts, and that plate voltage is 240 volts, so more than likely that's going to be real close coming off of there, because our 30 microfarad sets right there. And let's see if it goes up there, where it's going here. Trying to figure out. Okay, so it's coming off of there, going through there, and then up through that. So there's nothing in between. You got here, there's nothing in between. So the only thing in here is that R20, okay? And so off that plate of that 6V6, there should be an R20, and that's the only thing dropping any voltage to that plate. So we want to go to our plate pin up on a 6V6, and the good news is we're sitting here humming now. We don't have to worry about power no more. That way you can start doing all this other kind of troubleshooting. All right, so we got to find our plate, which I'm having a trouble to do. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. That's why. That would help if I looked at the right tube. I'm thinking, I don't see that resistor. Oh my goodness. Okay. So trying to figure out where my key is on there. Just give me a minute here. Okay. So it should be right here on the plate of the 6V6, right? Is that what we just said? Yeah. All right. So on the plate of the 6V6 here, I got 200. Oh gosh, I hit that. Shouldn't have hit that. 232 volts. I'm doing it again. All right, and the value on this resistor is, I think, 100 ohms. Yeah. So we have a 100 ohm resistor right here. So let's check on the other side of that 100 ohm resistor and let's see what we got. 235. So it's only dropping it a little bit. So we're well within this thing working great as far as that voltage is on the 6V6. So that tells me that more than likely most of these other voltages are going to be a little bit low, but well within the balance of what it needs to be. Let's just check one of these other ones. And like I say, we'll do it again when we do the troubleshooting video on figuring out why we don't have our sound here. But going right there, and we're going to go to that 6J5 that we had. I got to make sure I get on the right 6J5 because, okay, and I'm going to the plate, right? See, that one's actually a little high on that one. It's 172. It's supposed to be 150. 6V6, we said was 240. We're close. We're 232. Let's try the other 6J5. 160 volts on the plate. I'm 167, so that's beautiful right there. Let's check the Q7 just for the fun of it. The 6Q7, the plate should have 90 volts. Okay, let's find that plate on that one. Ugh. You can always tell when you're on the plate. You hear that popping in there. All right, I've got almost 86 volts, so we're close enough that is fine too. And just for the fun of it, if you check one of these, you can check them all. But when you're checking voltage on DC, you have one end on the ground down here on the chassis, and then the other end goes to the pin that you're checking for that plate. But when you're checking filaments, you're going to flip over to AC on your meter, okay? And this you put one on each side of the filament. So if our filaments are on like 2 and 7 or something like that, and I will figure that out here just 2 seconds, but I'm pretty sure it's 2 and 7 on these. Yeah, there's that one coming up, and yeah, okay. Pretty sure it's just making sure that I don't mess up here. Where is the other end of that? Just making sure it's right before I tap onto there. All right, anyway, you have to put on either side, like you one of the leads on pin 2 and one leads on pin 7. And I have, it's supposed to be 6.3 volts, and I have 6.2, so we're very good there. And if you check one of these, they're all interconnected, so you know, and plus I'm out here looking at the lights, and they're working great too. So that tells me my filament string is perfect. So right now, all those are good signs. So what this points to then, and I am going to check the filaments on each one of these only because I want to make sure that tube's working. But if you got plate voltage, you know it's working. So hold on just a minute. But it doesn't hurt to go ahead and check those. So we're going to go to 2 and 7 on each one of these and just make sure that one's good. Ooh. Okay, there's that one's good. Well, some of these are hard to get to. That one's good. Can't see where the key is on that one. Oh, there it is. That one's good. So we're getting good voltage on that. Also want to check my field coil drop, which we already know, but I want to see it. So you have one of these wires going into the field coil and one of them coming back from the field coil. And you want to be able to test that. Your field coil sits at the top end of that U shape. I think I showed you guys that before, but out here on these pins, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, you're going to have one going out and one coming back. And you got to find the one coming off your rectifier down here. And that's the one going out. And then when it comes back in a different direction. So let's find the one going out here to the rectifier first. And I think I'm locked in on it here. Hold on. So let's flip back to DC. And DC is right there. That's my 235. So it's got to find the one. 242. And we said this was what? 296. So let's see what happens here. Coming there, going there, going there. It's 296. Coming off of there. Okay, that wire is going up. I just got to figure out where he's going up to. I know where he should be going up to. You see the lights flicker? I slipped and put my lead on the wrong thing. Okay, there's my wire. I just got to figure out where he goes now. Okay, he's going right here. Here. He's going to that pin right there. All right. So I just made a liar out of myself on this one. And because this one has 5 wires, that's why I got mixed up. Okay, this is a 5 wire out here instead of a 4 wire. So my 2 is offset from 1 right here. So these are my 2. I don't know if can you see that? You can't even see that. Get you turned in here. I was 1 off from where I needed to be. Can you? So I'm doing 1 hand. Don't touch with 2 hands. All right. All right, I'm moving that chassis around with 1 hand. All right. I just see a little piece of solder laying right there. Definitely want, if you want to see that, you want to get that out of the way. Okay, now I'll explain it. This is your one coming up. And if you see there, when I click on that, it's just shy of 300. And then when I'm coming back from my my return back is right there, and I also have on this one 2 returns. One's coming back at 245, and the other one's coming back at 237. But basically, those are coming back off that fill coil that's in here that's operating the speaker. And like I say, that fill coil helps you drop. You're dropping from the 296, and then you're dropping down so it'll get you close to the voltages you need for this radio. And probably what's affecting this, because it's not giving you exact return voltages, is because you know, there is some changes to the electronics right here on these output transformers, and that might have affected that a little bit, even though it's not directly related, but it might affect that just because of the extra wiring. It's different wiring on that one than it is on this one, which may have a little bit of a draw on it, electric, to make these work, I guess what I'm trying to say. So it might affect that voltage just a little bit, but what I'm seeing right now is our not having a radio is not related at all to that. It's not a tube issue directly. Now there still may be a tube that's not doing its job right, but as far as the tube working, all these tubes are working. And sometimes you gotta be real careful with this, because some of these tubes are hot. And you get in some units, and that top of that grid cap is a positive, but in this particular unit it's not. And you can wiggle those tubes, and sometimes it's just a connection on the tube where the tube pins. I cleaned all those pins, but you know, it could be. And I got one of my 6V6 tubes that I was wiggling on there, and you heard that thing come to life a little bit, so I'm going to grab this. Those are real hot, so we may want to clean those pins again. Because the tube's working. The other thing I do, and it's a good test before you get into the chasing the RF going through here, is to get your little gun right here. This is not accurate, but it gives you an idea. So you get at the bottom of these tubes. You see I'm pulling 97 on that tube, and I'm pulling 98 on that tube. Now I'm gonna tell you, if you go around the top side, the top side of those tubes, the glass envelope part is 220 degrees. But on the bottom side, you'll kind of see that. That tube is running a little warm right there. That's the 6Q7. 6J5. They're all running pretty much the same heat on the bottom. I'm going to turn this thing off just for a second. Okay, let's keep going here. Yeah, we're pulling about the same temperature underneath here, so that means nothing's getting super hot. That's what you want to do, just make sure you don't have any hot spots in here. I always check everything, including the transformer. All right, let's do one thing. Let's see, I've got this flipped. Which way do I have this flipped? Remember, we added Bluetooth in here too, which means one of the ways puts it back to this jack right here, and the other way flips it to the radio itself. So let's see which one. I got the radio coming in on that side. It's going down through here. So the orange wires is the radio. And so I have to flip the switch up, and that'll make this radio work. That'll connect these two bottom ones. Now if I flip it this way, the blue wire goes to the Bluetooth and I go there. But yeah, that's definitely something to look at. One more thing I'm going to do here in a minute here is I'm going to hook I'm going to just hook up that Bluetooth piece and just see if I can make that thing work, because that'll tell me a lot of things on the volume control and the audio, and maybe I can play around with that volume control. All right, so we know now we got definitely an RF issue. Something on the signal itself. The signal is not making it from that antenna. It's getting lost somewhere here, but we don't know where yet, because that's what we're going to do with that. So we'll continue on with that here in a minute. All right, it's not working right, but it is working. I put my test Bluetooth in here, and I'm putting copyright-free music into this. But it tells you a lot of things. It tells you that all the output part is working right. My volume control is my problem. I also had a problem right here at this little switch. There was some kind of little short right there. I worked on that and got that. Probably hit that with a little more solder. But it doesn't have the volume it needs, and I'm assuming that might be our problem right there. I got this volume on the phone maxed out. You can control your volume on here too. See, you can control it there, but I got that maxed out, and that's the max volume I'm getting out of that. But it tells me that part's working. So that means whatever's not working on our radio now is on the front end up there. So we'll have to figure out where we're losing our signal. We're losing our signal somewhere in here on the radio, because right now we're good from this part of the radio that way. We got a good radio. We just got to figure out where we're losing our radio signal, where it switches over right here. So we'll figure that out. I got the signal tracer out. So we know our problem is this way, there. And then we also got the problem with the volume. And then I got to figure this stupid Bluetooth out too. My test one is old. I'd play you some good music, but I don't want to get copyright strike. All right, we're gonna go off of there for a second. Okay, I put a tone through here. I'm at 600, and when I dial, I'm a little bit off of 600, and then when I put in 1400, it's at like 1500 up there, so we're way off on the alignment. We'll get to that later, but I do have a tone coming through. That means it's coming all the way to that speaker right there, and really good actually. And then when I flip to my Bluetooth, I'm not getting the volume I need, and I'm not quite sure what's causing that. But you can see I'm playing. Anyway, we're moving along here. It's just I'm not getting RF through here yet either. All right, so let's. But that tells me I'm on the right band. It tells me a lot of things. So it's all pointing to me. Maybe there's a problem in the IF, and so I'm trying to narrow it down to where my problem is, and I'm getting audio all the way through, but RF's getting lost in here somewhere. And actually, even when I hook my antenna out here, I'm not even I'm signal tracing right here, and I'm not even signal tracing audio. I mean the RF to right here. So I'm trying to figure out why I'm losing it. There's something shorting something out here. And that's what I'm playing around with, trying to figure out what's going on with that. Let me keep looking at it. All right, I use these books all the time, but the papers that I have, I printed off the online, did not have what I needed, and I'm trying to find alignment instructions, and so I'm going to look in this book, and I had it marked. I'm going to put you on the thing here. All right, like I said, you got to be a detective sometimes on this stuff. All right, over here was my key. Up here at the top of this page, it printed off of there, it says for the model 6036 and 6136 is what this schematic's for. And then you read on the schematic right down here, and it says for alignment, see page 1044. Well, they don't print out page 1044, but when you do get to page 1044, you see this. And then you're looking for 6136 because that's our model, right? Well, they don't have our model on there. They have the one that's also listed there, 6036. So that means the alignment's the same. So right here is our alignment procedure for what we want. So it's almost microscopic to me, but this operates on 465 kilocycles for the for the IF frequency is what I'm trying to say. And so it tells you to close the tuning gang. We're going to go ahead and shut that all the way closed, okay? When they say close, they mean the two sets, the rotor and stator, are meshed together, okay? All right. So now I'm going to shut this Bluetooth off for a minute. All right. So we need to set 456 up here on our signal generator. So we want to hit that, and we want to hit 456 kilohertz. I've already got it modulated. Okay. Excuse me, I didn't have you up there. It's 456 kilohertz. I have you modulated, and so we should be okay on that. Now, where we put the thing? It says we use a 1 microfarad dummy antenna, and we want to put that in between the grid of the 6A8. Okay, so the grid on the 6A8 is on the top side, and we know our 6A8. I'm gonna move this over a little bit now. Remember our 6A8. We dealt with while we was doing all that other stuff. So you got three pins here, and your 6A8's in the middle. So we want on the grid, so we want to go on the top side and connect on to that right there. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to take our signal generator and get it unraveled for the mess I have it in right now. Got my book laying on all the stuff here. Yeah, that's what we don't want to do. All right, so our 6A8 is the second one down right there, and we're going to find the grid up here. All right, so I'm going to get me a jumper. I'm going to get a 1 microfarad cap. I'm going to go between the signal. I'm going to go between the end of this and that, and we're going to jumper that in here, okay? So basically we got where we're coming off of the machine up there, and we're going to jumper that in. So we'll hook this red lead onto the end of that, and that gives us this setup. You got where it's coming in from your signal generator, goes through the jumper, goes through the 1 microfarad, it goes through the big black wire, and then you hook onto the grid up there to the 6A8. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, had to shut my door. All right, my wife's working next door and I don't want to bother her. Okay, so now we want to do, we got to adjust these in order as T2 and then T1. And then let's see what we got when we put that through there. And it's kind of what I was wondering. And make sure I got that. Turning that volume down a little bit because we need it to get our alignment anyway. All right, so it tells me probably one of the IF cans are like way off. So give me a minute here and I'm going to try to see if we can get to that. Gotta turn this a little bit. The other thing I need to know, just so I don't mess up, is there's another paper here that tells you where T2 and T1 is. I think I got that one. We want to do this one first, right there, and then we want to do that one. We're going to be tuning these little screws right here, okay? So that's what we're going to do next. Sometimes you can tune that right out of there. But I got to find the right kind of screwdriver. What I'm doing is I'm just I'm backing this off and see what I can get out of it. All right, and if for some reason, see what they're putting this in here before this, oh my goodness, I got that all tangled. They're putting that 1 microfarad in there to try to attenuate, but sometimes you don't need to. So let's take that out and see if I can get a better signal if I do it this way. All right, here's the next thing we're going to do is we still got the motor boating and we're not getting our signal. So we do have issues. All right, so we're going to figure it out. I'm going to take this white thing, and that's on the end of my signal tracer. I'm going to hook it up here where we bring in the input signal. And we're picking up that at the beginning over here. So that there's an issue way on the front end here, okay? Because where we're inputting that signal, see, here's what we're supposed to be hearing. And we may have a problem in our machine here. Hold on. Alright, give me a minute, because we do have an issue. It may have nothing to do with the radio. I'm rearranging my wires here real quick. Alright, I'm going to click this on here, shut things up for a minute, we can talk. I'm just about ready to call this video because I'm quite a bit of time here. I'll go into the rest of the troubleshooting next time, but let me try one more thing. Just making sure I don't have bad ground here, because that can cause that too. Nope. I'm connecting that outside the radio right there, and it's still getting that. So we're getting something from our equipment here. $456. Part of it has nothing to do with the problem we're having, but I just realized I put in 456 and it should be 465. I'm dyslexic. How many of you people were screaming that? Okay. I don't think it'll have a thing to do with our problem though. Okay, we still got our problem. Why do we have our problem? Let's check our... I'm suspecting our probe now. Something wrong with our probe. Let's try a different test lead on here. I'm getting a signal, but it's really weak. All right, let's try it without that, and let's just go up here and hook this on and see if that'll work. Okay, there we go. That was that bad test lead. You never know. We still got a little bit of that vibration in there. But we do have a signal now. So now I can play with my alignment. Try to get that better. I probably threw it out of alignment when I was trying to fix around that bad test lead. Okay, now what we're pulling in our 465. Oh yeah, we're getting it now. And I'm up on top here because I can't lay it down. I'm tuning the, I'll show you in just a minute. Each time I'm turning that volume control down a little bit more. Okay, that's not too bad. All right, so now we know we got our IF pretty close. All right, so let's go get our RF just a little closer, and then we'll hook back up the antennas to see if there's anything now. I doubt it, but I want to try. All right, so I'm not going to worry about the shortwave. I'm just going down here and we'll play at the broadcast band. So they're wanting us to trim out C15, C4, and C1. So where do we find that at? Well, I said I was going to show you what I was doing. All I'm doing is turning them little screws. I turn that screw right there and that screw right there. And then I tune that screw and that screw. Could have told you to do them in order. I said do T1 or T2 first and then T1. So I did those at 456. We had this fully closed. We had it, or 465. I did it again. And anyway, we got that all pulled back. Now we got to find out where the other numbers are that it references here is C15, C4, and C1. So I don't know if that's on this right here or not, but let's take a quick peek and see if it is. Yes, it is. So the three little trimmers right here, that's C15, that's C4. I just don't know where C1 is. That did say C1, right? Yeah. So we know where C15 and C4 is. We just got to figure out where C1 is. Well, let's do C15, C4, and let's see what we do. Now what we do is it tells us to put it on 1,400, 1.4K kilohertz. Okay, so we hit that and then 1400 kilohertz. And this time you move your thing from off that grid cap on the 6A8 and you move it back to the antenna lead, which I'm just going to go the inside part of it right up there. All right, and then we're going to be messing with these trimmers right here. C15, C4, okay? And then we'll figure out later where C1 is, I guess. It's probably on top on the tuning cap. It is, right here. C1's right up here on the tuning cap. Okay. Okay, so I gotta find my little thing again. And let's see if we can get that noise through here. It tells you to roll the dial down to 1400. So I got it set on 1400. And let's do C15. I'm gonna get my bigger piece right here because it'll help turn that a little bit better. We're gonna be way off on this because it's like 100 off. So God knows where we'll find it. Just have to go different ways and try it. put that one back to where it is. Let's see if we can do this one. And that is looking from the bottom, right? Yeah. Oh, you know what? It's looking at it from that way, I bet. Yeah, I went off there. It's probably this one right here. This is C15, that's C4. I'm looking at it sideways. Oh wait, I gotta make sure my volume's up. All right, so if you get stuck like this where it's not fixing anything, then you want to roll it to where you do hear the noise and then turn that and see which way it makes it go. So we're going to do that next. Okay, right there it is. So let's see when it turns off, I have to which way. So now I turn it until it gets off of it. Okay, like that. Okay, well, it's going to be this way then, I think. Now I'm going to roll the dial a little bit, and it gets better. Okay, so we do know we need to go out with it. I'm going back in just for a minute. Okay. I'm going to try to find the best spot, because that's about all we're going to get on that one. It's real close to 1400 now. All right, now we'll try C4. Now that I get on the right one. There we go. See, that's bringing it in a lot louder. Okay, now I'll go around to C1. It's on the top, right on the top of the tuning caps. And let me play with that one now. Turn the volume down a little bit so I can hear myself going up. Plus I don't activate the AVC. Sometimes you got to bring out the regular screwdriver just to get this screw broke free, and it's rusted. Really. Look at there, we gained a lot there. All right, we got that. Good. I got good volume there now. I'm getting a little squeal, so I'm going to play with this other one just a tad more. I don't want to take that squeal out of there. I think it was this one that did that. Okay, we're gonna call that really close. I can go all the way up to that now. And just for the fun of it, I don't know if my other phone's still going or not. Let's see if we get anything out of this now. It might have shut off on me. Yeah, I'm still not getting the volume out of that. The Bluetooth just not coming through good. But I don't even know if it's not coming through out in the thing either. I don't think it's even coming through here. There's what we should be getting. That's my signal tracer doing that for us. So we're still losing something on the Bluetooth side. Now why? Because that's what's coming out of my board, that sound right there. So we're losing it in the switch part. Okay, let's hear what's going through this switch. I think our little switch might be bad.
New Kleenex Snap and Go. Snap shut for a clean tissue. Anytime, anywhere.
All right, I gotta finish this video up.
Next.
Okay.
Grab Kleenex Snap and Go.
I'm gonna disconnect everything. We're gonna connect the regular radio back up. And if we don't get any radio this time, then we've got some other bigger issues. So I'm gonna put that there, flip the switch. Let's see if there's anything here. Alright, so there's going to be another video coming, and we're going to have to keep working on this, figuring out what's going on with it. Our radio frequency is not passing through this at all. That's sad. Sad to know. Not quite sure what's going on with it. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed today. At least you learned a few things, and I went a lot longer than I wanted to, but you know, it's got to be done. So I don't want to belabor something, but you got to stay with these until you figure them out. And every radio has its own little problems, and this one's got about every problem known to man. All right, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next time. Well, I thought I was going to have to come back, but I played with this just a little bit more, and we've got a radio. I didn't want to end on a sour note today, and I wanted to end on a good note. What was is just what I suspected. I'm going to turn this down just for a minute. We have two major problems, but one of them I fixed. It was in the IF section, these IF cans up here. It has some kind of nastiness going on in there, and that's where we were losing our radio station inside those one of them IF cans. I think it was this IF can 1. But our audio signal, our RF signal, was being lost inside there. Well, I found him and got him woke up. And but understand, in my area, you don't get a lot of stations. As a matter of fact, like I said before in many videos, about this Fort Wayne station is about the only one I got, and with my little weak antenna I got, that's about all I'm going to get here. But if you're, you know, closer to a bigger town, you're going to have a lot more. If you get a real nice antenna, you need a long antenna. And mine's a little homemade thing, and it's not the best antenna in the world. But hey, we got a radio. Here's the two major problems we got left. One, Magic Eye tube is just barely there. It's pretty much dead. So I'm going to have to try to get a new Magic Eye tube for this thing. I got to do a little more cleaning on them. Just knows that. But anyway, we got a radio. We got that. We got to get our Magic Eye fixed, and then this volume control is the other big problem. I'm going to have to change this volume control, because if you just turn it a little ways, it either comes in or comes out.
Welcome back here to Play and
We've got, let me turn it back down. We've got the Bluetooth working. Oh, I think it was working a second ago. Did it cut off? That's funny. I had it working just a second ago. I don't know if it cut off on me or what. Anyway, it was probably because I got the volume down. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm losing my signal between there and that volume control. So whatever's going up there, I may end up having to run a dedicated line up there for the Bluetooth. That's because I'm using the same line that the radio is using, and it may need a better audio. You can hear it. You can hear the Bluetooth going, but it's just no volume at all. So I may have to go get my my cable that I was going to use, my audio cable, and run a dedicated line up there for that. But I'm going to wait till I put in a new volume control. Then I'll run a line straight up from that switch up for the Bluetooth. So when we flip that switch to the Bluetooth side, it'll use its own cable to get up there. I was just trying to make it easier because we have to go away from right there in that little hole where that cable goes in all the way to this side here, so I have to run that across. But we'll figure that out. I hope that hole's big enough for that, or find me another hole. I can drill one if I have to. Other than that, though, we got that part working good, and we got a radio now.
I understand that. Thank you for calling.
And that's what you're going to hear.
The spouse provision,
This is
right?
it. All right, thank you guys. Well, I almost gave up today, but at the end of the day, we end up finally walking away with a working radio. There's still bugs to work out of it. I still got to finish the alignment, and our Bluetooth has got a volume control issue. I don't know if I can get that fixed or not. I'm gonna try to though. And there's something wrong between where the switch is on the Bluetooth up to the volume and all the way out to the output. So we'll have to kind of trace that, but I'm going to probably put in a new cable there so I know that that's not the problem. Give it a good audio cable. And we're also going to put in a new volume control. So hopefully, I don't know if I'm going to do one more video on it or just show you the tail end where it got fixed. We'll decide that. All right, thank you guys very much. I just want to close out all my videos with this right here. This is my my motto, and it's going to be our channel motto from now on. It's sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. We don't ever want to lose. We want to learn from every mistake we made. I thank you guys for watching.